FTB Film Study is brought to you by the sports medicine specialists at Concierge Medical Associates. Whether you're a weekend warrior or an elite level athlete, let Dr. Stephen Murphy and his board-certified team of specialists keep you at the top of your game. Schedule an in-person or remote consultation at conciergemedical.ai.
Guys, here we go. We're talking about Penn State. What in the world happened with the defense? Tom Allen's got to simplify some things. There's a whole lot of talking. I like to call it doing jumping jacks when they're trying to communicate with each other because they can't even get lined up right. Let's talk about leverage issues, gap issues, triggering issues. Things that can be fixed, but it didn't look good. Let's find out why. You know the drill. Like, subscribe, comment. This is the first play. Okay, so Penn State is known for being the exotic blitzing team they are, but they also like to roll their coverage a lot. And so Bowling Green got a really good feel of this, and you could tell. So they're basically just running four vertical concept, meaning all four guys are going to go vertical, okay? And all he's going to do is he's going to see the one high. He's going to see that safety roll back, and he's going to see that safety come forward. So if you take a look at the quarterback, he does a really good job. Watch his eyes looking left here and see how Penn State's starting to roll down. Okay, there's a couple things that happen in this play. I don't understand what they're thinking. Okay, so number one, safety rolls down. So if you go one high into a cover three look, meaning there's three high guys right here in zone, and you've got four underneath, okay? The number one thing you got to look at in this situation is you've got to see that this safety right here has got to what they call rail or railroad this slot receiver, and he can't let him get vertical too fast. He's got to try to wash him to this guy, and he does a very poor job of it. So the quarterback just sets his feet, throws it right behind the ear of the safety that rolls down, and he gets a four vertical look real fast for, a nice 30-yard gain. All right, so again, we're going to look at the same drive, okay, and what you're going to see is you're going to see man. Okay, in Bowling Green sees man. They're running a trips nub set. We've talked about that if you've watched the previous videos. A nub meaning you get a tight end nubbed up, and you got trips for three receivers to one side. Now, where I struggle on this play is you've got man, and they're playing at different levels, meaning there's a guy playing shorter than a guy playing longer. And so Bowling Green sees this. And so what they're going to do is they're going to run a good old-fashioned rub route. Okay, and I kind of drew that for you earlier. The number three receiver is going to run vertical, and he's going to kind of clear the number two defender, and number two is going to press himself up, buy a little time, and catch himself underneath. So watch. Number three is going to go vertical. They don't do a very good job of what we call banjoing this, meaning that if these guys are this close to each other, that this guy should take anything that goes inside, this guy should take anything that goes outside. And so, I've talked about this in previous videos before where it's a pretty easy thing to do if you just banjo this. This guy right here will jump that inside route, this guy will jump the outside route, and they're expecting these two guys to exchange these routes, and that's almost impossible to do being in this compressed of a set, this close. And again, I think that's just poor planning or poor communication on the DBs. I think a lot of the problems that you came up with on Saturday were the DBs were struggling communicating with each other, and I really didn't like that at all. All right, so now down here again, same formation. You're going to get a twins up here, and you're going to get a tight end. You're going to get true one-on-one to the backside. Okay, so down here at the bottom, you're going to get a one-on-one with a corner. And to be honest with you, it's a good throw. But I also really don't like the coverage you're getting here. Again, knowing that you have help on the inside, this is cover one, meaning you have help on the inside. So if you watch up top, it's really a good play. See how he plays outside this guy and makes him go back in where he's got help from the safety? Well, down here at the bottom, he plays the inside leverage and he lets him have free run to the outside. And this is just an old school back shoulder play. And honestly, it's a phenomenal football play. It's just a good pitch and catch. But again, you break into a bad situation because, again, up top, see how he plays? He makes this guy go back inside to his help. Well, this guy didn't. Again, that's a common mistake that can't happen. Okay? All right, so again here, same idea, trips nub again. They're going to look at Penn State and realize they're not banjoing anything. So you've got three defenders on different levels, three receivers on different levels, and they're going to run a good old-fashioned snag concept here, meaning the number two guy is going to go into the corner, number three is going to get vertical and run the flat, and number one is going to pick off this guy right here. This play should not have happened. The way they press this, okay, he should be taking him, he should be taking him, and he's got him one-on-one. But look what happens. Boom. Same thing we ran into earlier. They're playing on different levels. They're not banjoing. Day one install stuff, guys. This is just kind of bad technical football. Like this is what you would do to a high school defense week 2 of the season, not a top 10 team in the country. All right, so this is a really interesting play. I really do like this play they ran right here. They're going I formation. They're compressing the boundary here, okay? But what I want to show you is I want to show you the route concept. So they know Penn State's superly over-aggressive, all right? And they know they're playing a lot of man. So what they're going to do is they're going to take the tight end, they're going to block for a 2 count, and he's going to release down the shallow. You're going to get a deeper shallow from the X receiver here to pick anything off in case it's man, and then the number 1 receiver is going to do whatever, okay? He's going to run a post or an out, whatever they decide to call, and this is duo play action, okay? So you're going to get a whole lot of guys. They're going to run this way right here, okay? You're going to get a fill and a fill, so the linebackers are going to fit hard because they see run action. You've got the outside receiver going to come pick off the guy who's playing man-to-man on the tight end who delays his route, and there you go. You've got the post, you've got the shallow, and you've got the drag wide open. Again, stupid stuff, but again, it goes back to being fundamentally sound. Great play call. Really don't like the fundamentals. This is a pretty simple concept. You can see where they screw this up. They banjo it, right? They banjo the mesh, but the guy comes off late, and you got yourself a bad situation. Again, they banjoed. They just didn't do a very good job of it. Okay, so now we have what's called a tight end wing set. A tight end wing. So you have a tight end and a wing. You have twins to the top. So this one's really interesting because it's about gap responsibility. Okay, so I do the math for you. Okay, number 1, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gaps. So we have 5 gaps to defend. In this situation, on this side of the defense, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then possibly a 5 who's playing 10 yards off. So you're expecting this guy to cover the 5th gap. So whatever you bring to this side, you're in trouble. Well, guess what? You don't have enough guys to fit the gaps. So you are now officially, for lack of better terms, screwed. You have no force. Nobody's hanging the edge. This guy's trying to play a flat pass defense, and you have no edge set. This guy has a 2-way go right here, and all of a sudden you have all the angles you want. So you had 4 guys for 5 gaps. Again, trying to bring a pressure from the field. I get it. But in these situations, sometimes you have to call this stuff off. Again, I just think that, I think that they were so hell-bent on doing the things that they wanted to do instead of adjusting to what they needed to adjust to. 3rd down and 6, all right? The small things. The small things. How can you jump in a situation like this? It's 3rd and 6. You don't need to jump the gun. It's not like it's 3rd and 1. Watch the ball. You know what I mean? It's watch the ball. I can't overemphasize the small things that were getting them beat all day. So here we go. You're going to get a trips formation to the field, and you're going to get a nub to the boundary. Again, DB confusion. Look at top. They're communicating. There is a lot of talking going on back here while they're ready to snap the ball. They're still talking. They're still talking. There is a confusion on how to play a bunch set to the field. Day 1 stuff, guys. Look. All right, we have a confusion in our coverage, and look what happens. All right, are we going to banjo? Well, maybe. No, we're not banjoing anything. Do you know how frustrating this is to watch? You've got a guy going out. That should have been easy. He should have picked him. All right, you have a guy coming in. He should have picked him. This play should not be open. But Bowling Green knew that this was going to be an issue. What I find to be even more frustrating is they're in man, and this guy's eyes are in the backfield. So if he threw this seam route, it's a touchdown. Bad football because of bad small details. I cannot stand watching bad football. Okay, here we go again. Now we're in the 2nd quarter. It's 3rd down and 14. Frustration at its finest. Okay, we talked about inside and outside leverage. We talked about having inside help. You are in a cover 1. You have a safety over the top in the middle, which means you play outside leverage, and you make everything funnel back to this guy. Watch what this DB does right here. All right, play happens, snap the ball, okay, boom, here we go. He presses outside, oh no. Then he gets worked back on the inside. He doesn't need to just jump out there. He has help. He has to, what we call, railroad this kid. He's got to take some kind of pressure off of him, and this kid just runs a post corner route. Post, corner, bad football. Again, you have help on the inside. You cannot get beat on the outside. It's not difficult. Okay, in this situation, this corner should have pressed back, keeping his butt to the sideline, knowing he can't get beat over here. Look at this. Steps on his toes, closes the gap, and now he's out of phase. It's frustrating to watch. Here we go again. Let's talk about it. Now we're going to run just inside zone, and we can't even fit inside zone right. Number one, we're still trying to talk to each other. Two, you get run read. Linebackers fit. They're not fitting. This isn't the Penn State I know. This is confusion. This is having issues understanding gap responsibility. You don't fit on run and you give them this much space, this is what happens. I can't even show you how frustrating this is to watch a linebacker sit in space when he sees 100% pure run coming at him and then just take on a block and get destroyed. There's confusion happening, and this has to get fixed. All right, so now it's the fourth quarter. Oh, now we decide to fix gap responsibility. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gaps. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all within 7 yards line of scrimmage. You can take care of this. Watch. All they do is they just try to run counter. Watch the D end. 15 squeezes. Does a good job. Holds the gap. Boom. It makes this thing have to bubble and get back out. Okay, we fit. Watch linebackers fit now. We see run, fit, fit, fit. It ain't hard. It's football. Look at that. So again, they're fitting now. You can tell that they went to halftime and made some adjustments, that they have to fit these small things, right? They have to make sure they understand these concepts. Okay, again, fitting. I show this because this is great scraping. Okay, you get down blocks. Watch right here. You get a down block. The DN squeezes. The linebackers comes scraping over the top nice and tight. And look at that. My word. You trigger. You see run. You trigger. You trigger. Look what happens. When you trigger, it's not difficult. You can see it's the simple things that are getting them beat. But all of a sudden in the second half, they decide, hey, let's stop thinking and let's just trigger and play football. That's the difference. Okay, right here, again, situations as follows. This is a very, very important one to look at. Number one, look what happens. He replays inside. He knows he has help out here. He knows he has help here. He doesn't have to exaggerate. Watch how he runs with him. He runs. Now he breaks, knowing that he has help over the top. He now has the intermediate route, and now he can play properly in this situation. Great play. These are the things that make you better. Okay, now, 3rd and 11, this is kind of what iced the game. Okay, so again, here we go. We have the exact same scenario. Outside leverage, help inside. Watch. Look what he does. He pedals. Notice he doesn't panic. Where does he take him? I've got help inside. I'm going to stay outside. Now look, he doesn't let him step on his toes. Stays outside. He tries to run the exact same route, which is a post corner. He tries to break the post to the corner. Nothing good happens because he collides with him because he keeps his outside leverage and knows he has help on the inside. And guess what? Hallelujah, you get a pick and you do your job. It's the small things that got them beat, guys. Penn State has a chance to be great, but you cannot let these little details of technique and performance be the dictating results of a game.